Well, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Car Talk with Mike DiPaolo. All right, I just finished meeting a photographer. We did a little walk through a property, and the topic came up about how do we price properties. So maybe we should talk about that today. How do you determine a price for a property? Well, it's a very complex kind of scenario because you have to take into a lot into consideration. One, you have to look at what the house is. Bungalows are worth more than 2 stories, obviously, and single detached are worth more than semi-detached, whether it's the same square footage or whatnot. So you've got bungalows, which are generally a little bit higher in price because they're well sought after by the older community who does not want to do stairs anymore. And they're not making a lot of bungalows anymore because they take up a lot of land. So there's basically those 30-foot lots and 40-foot lots you see are for 2-story homes. Bungalows are mainly on older properties, bigger properties, and or higher-end bungalows that are in prestigious areas that are quite a bit of money. So that being said, there's a lot of factors to consider. One of the biggest things is square footage, okay? Because you want to know how much real estate you're working with. A house that's only 1,000 square feet versus a house that's 2,000 square feet. Well, there's added value there, both in construction-wise and to be able to enjoy the home. So square footage is one thing we always compare. Number of bedrooms, number of baths, has a garage. So you look at that. We also look at sometimes the assessment value of the property. Used to mean a lot. Nowadays, it doesn't really mean anything. We've seen houses before. When I first started in 2010, 2011, we could say, okay, if a house has an assessment of $500,000, if it needs a lot of work, it's going to sell for below $500,000. If it's like walk-in ready, but you don't have to do any work, it's probably, going to sell from anywhere from $500,000 to 10% above that. If it has all high-end finishes, it's in a good neighborhood, it looks like it's been updated, then it's going to sell for about 25 to 30% over the assessed value. So when you had a $500,000 assessment, sometimes you say, okay, 30% over, that's $650,000. Well, nowadays, unfortunately, things have turned. We've got houses with $500,000 values that are selling for $1.5 million. So more or less, it's more than double the assessment value in most cases, sometimes even 3. And the reason why is assessments are only done every 5 years by a company called MPAC, Municipal Property Assessment Corporation. This is what you get your taxes based on. So if you're unaware of that, it's actually almost better to have a lower assessment because you're paying lower taxes. So the city has a tax rate they're called, so you can calculate. And if your house is assessed for $500,000, like I know the city tax rate here is 1.17, so you could say that your property taxes would be $5,500. Okay, so that's one of the things, the assessment value. We don't use it very much anymore, but we used to. So square footage, bedroom sizes, and or finishes are the main things. The other thing to consider is the area of the home, right? We all have that bad area of town that is undesirable. So if you have the same home in that undesirable part of town, as opposed to a desirable part of town, you're looking at a complete different value, right? Could be a couple $100,000 more or more. Depends on how bad the area of town is. So you look at that, and then we all have to consider the updates to the house, okay? You may have the exact same house, exact same area, with the exact same exterior finishes, but if they've redone the inside, if they've updated when it needed updated, if they've taken care of things, as opposed to the person who basically, the house was built in 1990 and they haven't done a single thing to it other than maybe replace the roof at one point in time. That's worth a lot less than someone who has spent $10,000 on a deck. They've spent, $5,000 to $10,000 redoing the driveway. They've redone all the floors inside. Kitchens and baths are the main thing. You can spend up to $30,000 for a really decent bathroom. The average spend on a bathroom, the average bathroom is probably only $5,000 to $7,000. But people like their high-end items, they can spend, and I know a friend of mine just said she spent $30,000 on her bathroom, but she loves it, right? I know you could spend $7,000 on a kitchen from IKEA, or that same kitchen, you can spend $30,000 on custom cabinetry and all higher end finishes. So that really is what we're looking at. You can't just say, oh, my neighbor has the same house as me and he sold it for $500,000, so I'm going to get that. No, it all depends on the upgrades that have been done inside when we're looking at two houses in the same neighborhood as well. So it's really touch and go, you know, like a lot of times it's hard to explain that to people because they have lived in their house and they haven't done a single thing and they still have shag carpets. How do you tell them, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know you've enjoyed living here. You can tell you've enjoyed living here because you've kept it original. But unfortunately, original doesn't appeal to the masses today. So there's two options. You can either spend a little money ahead of time and do some of the things that are going to improve the value right now, or you can sell the house as is. I suggest doing the things that are minimal costs that you do well that'll increase your value. One of the things I always tell people, fresh coat of paint. I'm not saying you go out and paint your rooms red or deep blue or something. You use a neutral color. Grays and whites are good. I know they may seem clinical to you, but they sell. People look at them. They're fresh, they're clean, they sell. Okay? Do not use a dark color when you're trying to sell your house. You want to live in your house, you paint your dark rooms all you want. Paint it neutral to sell it. Okay? So people can look at it, see what they're working with, and they'll choose their own colors. Okay? It's all about the way the house presents as well, right? People walk through, if there's scents to the house, if you're smoking in the house and whatnot, 50% of the times people walk out of houses that have been smoked in and don't even want to buy it. So presentation is good, both visually and using your other senses as well. Okay? So you got to remember that when placing home in value. And we always tell people, I'm like, okay, don't cook anything aromatic while it's being listed. That's no fish, no curries, no spices, no nothing. It's a big turnoff for people. That will affect the value of the home. So we have to price the homes according to its current conditions, not just because it's the same size bungalow as something else that's sold in the house. Price it properly, you'll get the right offers. Price it improperly, it'll stay on the market. So if you need help, I know I'm always available for a free home evaluation, or you know, to come in at any time and tell you what you can do to increase the value of the homes. I usually do that on a free home evaluation. I'll tell people what they can do to bring up the value of the home without doing too much. I'm not going to recommend doing kitchens and baths because those are too time consuming. But flooring is something that's very easily done, but do it right. Don't just do the cheapest flooring you have. That'll just deter people from putting an offer in, because now that's extra work for them. So do it right with the right materials, you get the right results. Anyways, I'm here at any time. If you have questions, concerns, you want to chat, you want to hang out, you want to take me for a drink, I'm down for that too. I love free beverages. All right. Until next time, people, enjoy your weekend. Take care.